it's like we say, every day is one day closer to the Joe Gomez goal. It just wasn't today.
It's true. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Liverpool Girlies Podcast, a place where we welcome anyone who loves to obsess over Liverpool FC. My name is Stephanie and I'm here with Molly Ann and Annika. We are three friends who share a love of Liverpool and dream of one day having a cup of coffee at the AXA Training Center coffee bar. What a week, y'all. Started out really great. Aston Villa, Real Madrid, and then of course we end with a loss at Man City, another roller coaster. How are we feeling?
We had like the highest of highs. We've lost today. But honestly, going into Aston Villa, if you had told me, hey, out of the next 3 games, you're going to win 2 and you're going to lose 1, I would have been thrilled. And so I think I'm just in a moment of like, okay, let's shift my perspective a little bit. I had really high hopes for today. Not the result that we wanted, but considering the little, run in form we had, I'm like, I'll take it.
City is in such good form right now. So,
yeah.
And we'll get into those details. Annika, how are you feeling?
I agree. Yeah, I'm not feeling as weighted down as maybe I could following the results of today. I think that, emotionally prepared at some level, but it was a roller coaster for sure. And it's always fun to watch. It's always nice to get 2 matches in, especially heading into an international break, spend some quality time watching the team and send them on their way.
We have said quite a bit over the last few weeks of how much it's been roller coaster rides, like Liverpool Land and all that. So I thought it would be funny to assign a Disney attraction to this week. So which Disney attraction would each of you assign to this week of experiencing this sport as a Liverpool fan?
I'm going to take Autopia or Tomorrowland Speedway. Depends on what side of the coast you're on. But I feel like whenever I'm on that ride, I sit down in the seat and I'm like, oh, I've got this. I have my license. I know what I'm doing. There's no problem here. And it starts off very merry. And then by the end, I'm coming back into the loading area and I'm hitting every beam and I'm going back and forth. And, we're still on track, but it's a little bit of a wavy path home. And I think that is how I felt this week.
I'm going to agree with you on the Autopia side. It's going to be more Autopia than Tomorrowland Speedway because Autopia is so much more lush and there's so many more things to look at. And it's a little bit longer than Tomorrowland Speedway. The peaks are much higher than Tomorrowland Speedway. So no, I fully agree with that assessment. Molly, what about for you?
I'm going to go with the spinning teacups because the teacups are thrilling. They're exhilarating. Sometimes make you a little nauseous. But I'm really thinking about where you start on the teacups. You don't start and end in the same place. And so you have your spinning excitement. You're like, whoa, not feeling so great. But ultimately you finish a few feet ahead of where you started. And I think that's where we are. We had some really great moments. We had some moments that I would not like to repeat again, but we're doing better than we were.
I fully agree with that. And it also just depends on who you ride the ride with, because one person could be really excited about spinning and the other person is just like, nope, no thanks. And then as a kid with my dad, he spun it so fast. And now I'm just like, I'm just fine to just sit here and not spin it. This is great. Listen to music.
And it's sometimes the intense spinnings are great. And sometimes it's make it stop now. And you never know. I feel like that's what we got this week. Some of the intense spinning was let's go. And then some of it was can the ride end? Thank you. I'd like to get off.
90 seconds is just enough. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the next thing now. Great.
Yep.
For me, just especially coming right off of that Man City game, I think this week is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It is a classic attraction. It's so much fun at the beginning. The storytelling's great, and then all of a sudden you get hit by a train and you go to hell and the ride is over. And then we're headed into international break, and that's what losing 3-0 to Man City feels right now. It's just doom.
Mr. Toad's Wild Run is very jarring, and I think that's fair.
Yeah. But if we kind of step outside of the ride, we end up back in Fantasyland. And so, maybe that's where we yes, we've finished Mr. Toad's, but now we get to walk into Fantasyland.
Yes.
And look for something a little more hopeful.
For the season as a whole, I kind of hope it's OG Snow White's scary adventure, because then it gets really scary, and then super happy ending. Great. We just don't know what the end of it's going to be, but just for this week specifically, it ends with what just happened? Question mark. That's like, you get off that ride and you're like, did that just really happen? What's going on here? So I like yes, you do walk right back into Fantasyland, and then you can go into the next attraction over and go ride Peter Pan's flight.
Yeah, exactly.
Dreamy. So what if this season felt like Peter Pan's flight? That would be nice.
The best.
Just flying above the city. No, we need to be in it. We want to be like feeling all the feelings along the way as supporters. So
yeah,
it's part of it.
Yes. And this week was really exciting. As disappointing as the Man City match was, about a month and a half ago, the club reached out to us and asked if one of us wanted to be on LFC TV for the Man City match. So I got to go on that. It was incredible. It was a really big bummer that it just was not a great outcome for a game, but I had so much fun. The other two panelists were great. And yeah, it was really interesting to just leave the TV. Since that was going on, we watched it at home. We made breakfast. We had some friends over, and it was just good vibes here. We had so much fun, but it was weird to just kind of like separate from that and then like be focused in. And yeah, it was really great. I hope we'll get invited back, and one of you guys will end up getting to be on the television.
It was so fun to watch you, and like, I was so surreal. I was like, she's just in the other room, but she's on the TV. But
it was so weird because incredible. I was watching them interview Arne, and I was like, it feels like he's talking to me. This is so surreal. Like, one step closer to being in Liverpool and like getting to converse with them one day, hopefully.
Yes.
And I kept having these thoughts where like, I'll watch those interviews and I'll start chiming in as if they can hear me because I'm just sharing my opinion. And I was like, oh my gosh, like Steph actually could chime in and they'll hear her thoughts. This is so weird. But it was so fun to see. And I just love the way that the club engages fans from all around the world and invites people in to talk about their experiences and how they're feeling. And just they make Liverpool feel like such a home and such a family. And so it's just cool that you have to be a part of that and have a special opportunity. Incredible.
Represent the Liverpool Girlies of America in Liverpool.
There was Alex. He is from the UK. And then we also had Jose, who's from OLSC Costa Rica. So we were kind of all over the place. They were like, Steph, you're in America, keeping up with Liverpool. I'm like, yes, I am.
And on the West Coast, even more.
Yeah, West Coast.
Even more dedication.
And you brought a lovely optimistic light to the studio. So we're very grateful for that.
They were like, we just want to end on a positive note. And I was like, yes, I still believe we're going to be good. We just got to lock in. We're going to hit the reset button. They're like, well, Stephanie's very optimistic. Jose, what do you think? And he was like, I'm also optimistic. Yeah. We're just
That's our goal.
The good vibes out there. Yeah. Only positive things.
And if you want to hear, I think that the show will be out as a podcast in the next couple of days.
The official Liverpool supporters podcast, and it'll be called The Reaction for this match. So
check it out. Listen to Stephanie.
It's a bummer conversation, but it was really fun.
Yeah. When hopefully you went to start stuff, it was like the 80th minute, and right then they had subbed Joe Gomez on. And so I was just like, this is the moment we get a Joe Gomez hat trick, and Steph's gonna be on LFC TV. You know, it's like we say, every day is one day closer to the Joe Gomez goal. It just wasn't today.
True.
It's true. They had on my screen who was subbed in and who was taken out, and all of a sudden another little arrow pops up, and I saw Joe Gomez go in. I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Maybe this is going to be his opportunity to score his first Liverpool goal at the Etihad.
Yeah. There's always an opportunity. He was pretty far forward today. Yeah. So I was like, I mean, honestly, Joe could be going for it at this point.
Incredible.
So well, if we kind of wind back in time and go back to a lovely evening at Anfield that we spent playing Real Madrid in the Champions League this week. This was a highly anticipated match, you guys. We've been talking about this since we drew what our Champions League matches were going to be. How did you guys feel going into it? Were you feeling nervous? Were you feeling confident? How was that?
I think in hindsight, I feel like I can't remember. Right now, I'm like, oh, I was so confident knowing how well the game went. So I'm like, how was I feeling? I don't know. Those memories no longer exist, and I'm just
I
like,
have
we
wiped
did so
them.
well.
The joy has overcome any
Yeah.
past doubt. That's so fair. I
Yeah.
love
I mean,
it.
I think coming off of Aston Villa, it definitely was more hopeful of like, okay, we at least are showing up well right now
Mhm.
and not, kind of in the previous form we had experienced. So that version of me doesn't exist anymore. I don't know how I felt. We were great. That's all I remember.
Yeah, I was just so curious. I had so many, I I love watching Champions League games. Those like nights are just so exciting and the atmosphere is incredible. You see so much determination from all the players and being home at Anfield just felt so nice. I just was like, "Oh, I've missed this." Every time we're at Anfield, I'm like, "Please, please. I love being here." So yeah, I was super excited and I actually felt pretty good going into it. Probably coming off of that Aston Villa high, I was like, "Okay, here we go." But yeah, it was such a great match, so fun and from the beginning, we were seeing lots of great opportunities, and the lineup was really interesting. Initially, I was like, okay, here we go. We saw Verts, right? That was his first match as left winger. That was really exciting to see. What did you think, Steph?
The first 5 minutes were incredible. Annika, you and I were off of our seats, like screaming at how beautiful that they were playing. Just seeing the number of completed passes and all the little sequences that they were to be able to create. Going into it, I was really nervous. It was just, again, a highly, very anticipated game. I was grateful to have Aston Villa beforehand to kind of keep my hopes up. It was one of the best games. It was probably Liverpool's best performance, hands down. It was a Vert's best performance. It was Connor Bradley's best performance. Oh my gosh. We went in really hoping to see another Connor Bradley v Mbappe. That was your big wish, Annika.
Yeah.
Connor
I mean,
Bradley.
it delivered.
Oh, he was against Vinny Jr. All of the memes that we saw about him taking Vinny Jr. out of his pocket at the end of the game was just, it was so good. I wish we could see Connor Bradley v Real Madrid in every single game. The way that he showed up for that was
Yeah,
just
like can we
incredible.
hypnotize Connor
Yes.
Bradley so he thinks every opponent is Real Madrid because
I know.
he just shows up in like a different way, a different level with Real Madrid. That like to date still phenomenal, but just like it was not the same Connor Bradley. So like I don't
He
know.
had a very, very, very difficult opponent today. I will give him that.
Yeah. But I'm just like, how do we like
Yeah.
just convince him
The aura.
he's playing Real Madrid every week?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I mean, I had such an interesting journey. I mean, obviously, McAllister had that incredible goal, shortest guy on the field, made it happen from the corner. We love to see it. But I had an interesting journey with it because when the lineup came out, I don't know if you guys remember, but I was looking at all the pictures and Mac's picture, he just looked so cherub-like, so angelic, that I took a screenshot of his face and I sent it to the group chat and I was like, you guys, look at Mac. This is so lovely. And I really felt like that, like he was sending signals from even before he was on the pitch that that was going to be his game. Another player who has really shown up against Real Madrid. So, McAllister, that was your night.
Even the content that we were getting from the club on social media, there was just a different type of aura that the players were showing up with. That confidence, you could see Mo smiling a whole bunch. Just the way after that Aston Villa win, the way that they were carrying themselves, you could just see, okay, their spark is back. Maybe we're going to crush it. And they brought it. And kudos to all of Anfield and the supporters that were there for that match because they were that 12th person on that pitch. Oh my gosh, they made it next to impossible for Real Madrid to be able to communicate from how loud they were.
It was incredible to watch. We also have to mention Courtois, the keeper for Real Madrid, because that man is so tall. Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
It's like, how do you score a goal against somebody that is the size of the goal? Like we saw almost impossible. Even Verge like had a header that he blocked, that Courtois blocked, and Verge was just like laughing.
I mean, it was
like,
a
this is
perfect
ridiculous.
header. Like, there was nothing Virgil could have done to have made that. Like, it was inevitable. And yeah, seeing Virgil laugh and just be like, okay, like, kudos to you. Like, I mean, we had a lot of incredible shots. I mean, what did we have? Like, maybe I'm inflating this, but I think it was like 11 shots or something like that. Like, it was a lot. And
Yeah.
so seeing just so many great chances being had. Shout out to Courtois. I thought it was really ironic that the header that Virgil took, you know, he blocked, but Mac, who's much shorter, it was like down towards his face more. His arms were up too high. It just kind of blew right past him. And hey, that's what it takes.
It was like 3 set pieces in a row that it would have been amazing goals, but Courtois blocked every single one of them. I think it was 2 from Verge and 1 from Ekatike, all one right after the other. And that was incredible. Oh,
I always love
like,
it. I always love it when we
was
have a bunch of corners like in such a concentrated amount of time, because you just feel this like momentum and like, okay, try this. And I often wish that we have. Obviously, it's hard because then sometimes the flow of play is different, or it can be frustrating. A lot can go wrong, but I enjoy it when it does happen that way.
Yeah, and I think this season we're just seeing us take advantage of corners in a different way, where I'm almost like more so expecting a goal or like something closer, where last year in the season before it felt like, okay, it's a chance, but it may or may not fall. But I love whatever they're doing, you know, in practice and how that's coming out on the pitch during the game. The conversations that they have leading up to corner kicks are just really different. It's exciting to have those moments, have a little positivity, hope, you know, that kind of has been coming out of those.
And we won 1-0, kept a clean sheet, 2 clean sheets in a row.
Yeah, back in the top 8 of Champions League. So just like fingers crossed we can stay there. We don't need to be at the top. Obviously, we saw last season it doesn't really pay off to be may or may not pay off to be at the top, but just avoid those extra games. So great positioning.
Well, y'all, we got to talk about it. Man City versus Liverpool. It's a rough morning, but there were good things that came out of it. We lost 3-0. It was at the Etihad. One of the things that we talked about on LFC TV was how hard the away games have been for Premier League across the board. No one this weekend won away. It was if anything outside of a draw, it was the home team that won, which is so interesting. So I'm really curious to see how that's going to impact things from here on out. But they were saying like the top 6 teams, you go away and it's so difficult to pull out a win, which I'm just really fascinated by. I mean, it was rough. Man City showed up really, really well today.
It's so interesting how much atmosphere does play in. Florian even talked about that for the Real Madrid game and said that he found Anfield to be such an incredible atmosphere for to be playing in that night, that really lifted him up and encouraged him. And so I think even seeing today, right, I was holding out hope for a while that we could figure something out, but you could just see a point towards the end of the second half that was like, okay, we're away. This is really not going our way. Let's just make it out of here. You know, no injuries, maybe trying to create some chances. But yeah, it was definitely a tough ending. Man City looked really great. And last season, you know, we kind of had this very strange experience going to the Etihad, where we came in and we won, which is incredible to see. But obviously that should never be expected when you're playing Man City. That's just not how it goes all the time.
They're just back in great form this season. And Doku
Yeah,
today,
I mean, Doku was incredible.
Yeah. Connor, was great. He wasn't making, mistakes, but he's such a great player. And, it's hard to get worked.
Yeah. Kind of jumping back to that, just this weekend, the away teams not being able to pull out any wins. I really love that for the Premier League this season. I think it continues to show the strength of the league and just continues to reinforce, you have to play the game. It's not a given. You know, Sunderland getting promoted this season, if they just followed form of the teams that were promoted last season, they should be hanging out at the bottom of the table, and they're not. And so for them to fight and get that draw with Arsenal, obviously we want to be the away team that goes in and wins, but I do love seeing the strength of the league and the competitiveness. I think it pushes everybody to play better and to do better, and not just to be well, we're in the top 6 clubs, so we're guaranteed a first, second, third finish. I want us to be the away team that wins, but I love just the competitiveness of the league this year.
Technically we're sitting 8th right now, but we're 8 points behind first, Arsenal, and I think there's 5 teams that have 18 points.
Yeah.
And we're all right there, and then the next fourth place. Sunderland has 19 points. So it's all such. Arne has been talking a lot about how tiny the margins are. And
yeah, absolutely.
That could not be more true right now.
And that works in our favor in a lot of ways, right? Where there's still so much time left in this season and we are still really early on. So we have this other international break, but then we will go right into our holiday fixtures, if you will. I can't wait to see. I feel very hopeful that we'll continue to figure it out and try new things. And I think even over the last, 2 weeks, we've seen a couple changes that feel like, okay, this is working better. There's always effort and the boys always go out there and are trying as hard as they can. I don't have any doubt about that. But seeing them find success and find that encouragement and feel like, okay, I'm getting to be creative and I'm coming up with new ideas. That's always my favorite when I see them on the sidelines kind of scheming, being like, okay, well, what if we tried this or that? So every time we have a game like Real Madrid, right, a game like Aston Villa, it helps build up that confidence for them as a team.
Even our performance today, while it's not the result we wanted, was better than the 5 matches in a row. Like, I think watching those matches, it was like really concerning of like, where's the communication? Like, how is this team gonna figure it out? And it wasn't perfect today, obviously, but it wasn't the same viewing experience, like the same level of concern. It's okay, they're still figuring it out, but like we saw a lot of positives, some great momentum. They keep fighting, like they don't give up, even 3-0 down, like they're fighting for those chances, fighting for the ball. I think we're getting there. Like it is just like everything is building upon, each game builds upon the next. And we were hoping it would just build like straight from Real Madrid, but it's okay. We're doing better. If we had performed this way today in the middle of those 5 matches, I think we would have walked away saying like, okay, we're seeing progress. Just coming off of 2 really great games. It does feel more like a fall off today.
I also think something that we got to see today and have a positive takeaway from was Mamardashvili's incredible penalty kick save. That was great to see. You always hate to be in a situation where a team is taking a penalty kick against you. Never good, but it is always helpful to kind of understand, okay, where are we at? Like, and seeing the way that Marmy was able to hold his own, and that was a very electric moment. I celebrated as if we had scored a goal in that moment.
And even the play leading up to that penalty, where there was just so much chaos in the box, most of the time in the past, we have not kept the ball out of the net. But the fact that, just seeing Sobo's reaction after he was able to deflect the ball, the fact that we were able to get that ball out of the box, despite how chaotic it was that was a step in the right direction. Whether the PK should have happened or not, that was such an incredible save from Army.
It's hard when you lose 3-0 to really argue anything changing the result of the game. There's just so much that can happen. But seeing those individual moments, seeing Sobo in the box, seeing the way that Virgil, he went zoom mode, as I said. It was incredible to see just the determination. And whenever I see that determination from them, I'm like, okay, that is only going to continue to breed confidence and continue to lead us in the right direction.
My favorite line was Taylor calling Virgil. He said he was the most graceful brick wall. I'm like, I want to use that forever.
We love it.
Yes. I will always remember the Christmas gift that Virgil got last year it's just a framed picture of a brick wall, because that's what he is.
Cool. Any other thoughts from today, ending the week?
Here we go to international break.
Yeah. Okay. So international break, which we do love. We've got our teams to support. Germany, so we've got Flo out with the German team, has the potential to qualify this window. So keeping our fingers crossed for Flo. It'd be great to have another Liverpool player in the World Cup. Our favorite teams, the Netherlands, have one really big game against Poland. Netherlands is currently first in their qualifying group. Poland is in second place, so they're going to play Poland and Lithuania. And then my personal favorite, loves of my life, Uruguay, just playing some friendlies, but on U.S. soil. So they'll be playing U.S. in Tampa. And then actually Mexico, maybe U.S. soil or maybe in Mexico, I'm not sure. But some great, fun friendlies coming up.
I will hopefully catch the Netherlands match, of course. I always try to. Excited to see what happens international break. I'm always rooting for some of our guys to have some great moments. No injuries, as always.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the Netherlands social media team, the arrivals, best part of international break, because
So
their
good.
vibes, it's always like they're like walking out of a forest really stylishly. So excited for that content. I'm also glad that this is the last international break until the end of March, so we can actually work on our stuff consistently together. And then that next year, all of the fall international breaks are going to be combined together into one instead of doing it 3 different times.
Yeah.
So that was
That's
decided.
great.
So I am so thrilled for that because this has been so disruptive.
It's so chaotic.
How do you think, kind of going into this break with a couple really great games, the Man City game today, and now that's kind of like the energy we take into international break? What are y'all's thoughts on how that does or does not impact the team dynamics?
Last international break, I was like, okay, we just have to hit the reset button. Let's go. And we came back and we were able to get back up on our feet again eventually. I think that we don't necessarily need to hit a reset button. I wish we could continue just working on the details. It's really just in the tiny, minute details. So it's kind of a bummer that we can't stay and do that. But as long as everyone comes back healthy, then I think it will be fine. We do have Forest away first when we come back, so that's going to be really interesting. But it feels like, looking past that, we have Inter Milan, which will be a hard game, but it feels like we have a little bit of a breather in terms of the fixtures that we have and what we get to have at home. So I'm curious to see what that's going to be like. It's just going to be one of those like hit the ground running, hope for the best. But I think it's going to be solid.
Yeah.
If you had told me going into the last international break where we were at that point and then coming back and not immediately being on our game, but taking a little bit to kind of get our grounding again, that we would be on this side having won Frankfurt, Aston Villa, and Real Madrid, I would be feeling pretty good about that. So I hope that even though today wasn't the result we wanted, that they're all feeling fairly encouraged compared to where we were at going into last international break. I do think it is a big improvement.
We were playing so much better than we did when we went into the last international break. So I feel like we're ending on a much better spot than we were the last time we separated.
All right. Are you ready for players of the week?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Hey, Steph, do you want to start us off? Who do you have?
My player of the week is Andy Robertson. The way that he has just shown up and said, I will play when you need me and where you need me, without question. His maturity, being vice captain, the way that he's been able to show up and encourage this team and lead the new players and the younger guys on the team, it's just incredible. He does not get enough praise. And not only his personality and his leadership, but the way that he played versus Real Madrid, it's like we saw Andy 6 or 7 years younger. Oh my goodness. He was incredible. And it was like his presence, his experience was just really evident on the pitch, and it made everyone else play better. We talk about that with Virgil all the time. Like, he makes other people a better version of themselves. And I think Andy was such a big part of that, and how he has shown up and given 110% every single time he's given the opportunity to be on the pitch it's just amazing.
Leanne?
I gotta go Connor Bradley after the Real Madrid match. I'm so excited to continue to see Connor play. I think in that right back position, we've been kind of looking for someone to say, like, I'm going to be the starting right back. You know, we've had Frimpong and Connor both have kind of teetered in and out of injuries. So that's made it harder to kind of claim stake in that position. But we saw Sobo come back there, and if he wanted to be the right back, he could have taken it from both of them. I love what we're seeing from Connor, his intensity, you know, the tackles he's making, the pressure he's putting from that position. And I think we're really starting to see him say, like, no, this is my spot. Frimpong, you're the team hype man. That's great. But like, I'm going to be the starting right back. And I love Frimpong, right? Like, but I think that competition's so good for both of them. And just, Real Madrid, just incredible. You couldn't ask for a better performance from him or anyone on that team. So I love to see him going after it. Sometimes he doesn't always feel like the most competitive. Like, and so I love when we get those moments where, like, he is fighting. He's fighting for it, and we see that intensity from him.
My favorite part was in an interview after the Real Madrid game, Connor said, yeah, I mean, he kept saying things to me. I'm not really sure what he was saying, but he didn't get past me all night. So, okay. Just like,
Yeah, like
It was incredible.
absolutely incredible. All right, Annika.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Florian for my player of the week. I had so much fun seeing him play up in the left winger. My first reaction, I was kind of not expecting that. I guess I wasn't sure where we were gonna see Arne place Flo as we're trying to figure out his positioning, but starting to see him really find his footing. He was talking about how encouraging he found the environment on Wednesday. And also just seeing the way that he was able to apply so much pressure today. He was really getting in their head, in Man City's head, and caused, what was it, like 3 foul? Or, he didn't cause, but he lent himself into people fouling him, like I think 3 times. And it was just great. He was showing great determination. I can't wait to see what he continues to do. I am really excited to watch him continue to grow and mesh into the team. So I'm seeing a lot from him. Want to give him a shout out.
Yeah, love that. He's like definitely coming into his own. And I think we've mentioned a couple times, like for all of the Florian doubters, like I love this for Flo so much. I think he's going to be really important. He just needs some time. And with that time, we're starting to see what he's producing.
And when he gets that goal, it's going to be electric.
Yes.
he's learning how to anticipate in the Premier League. It is just a different language, not only in the actual language that they speak, but in the way that these players show up on the pitch and the physicality in it. You can see it really starting to click in. The moment that it clicks in, he is going to be unstoppable. And I cannot wait.
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch. Like on an individual note, it's fun to watch someone figure it out and see them try each week again and again and be like, okay, what about this? What about this? So obviously, as fans, we're like, we want Liverpool doing great, but as also fans of these individual players, it's great to watch their individual journeys as well.
That's all for this week's episode. We'll be back here after international break. In the meantime, come hang out with us on social media. Until then, you'll never walk alone.